Hi guys, I am here for my very first wrap-up video and I'm pretty stoked about it. And the first book that I read is High Rising by Angela Thirkell. This ended up being one of my favorite reads of the year. And this is the story of Laura Morland and her son Tony and them heading into the countryside for Christmas. And there's lots of funny things that happen and you know, people having secrets and then people making plans without telling other people, and it's really amusing. And what I was a little bummed when I read this because I had all these Christmas reads lined up, and so it says they go there for Christmas, but it ends up being like a year that the whole thing takes place. So that was a bit of a bummer, but doesn't mean there was anything wrong with the book. I was just hoping for a Christmas read. So that was my first read, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I really loved it, and if you love classics or modern classics, you should definitely read High Rising. And then the next, I'll put the picture up here because I returned it to the library. I read Christmas Holiday by W. Somerset Maugham, and this ended up getting 2 stars from me. And it's all me, so let me unpack that. The reason that this got 2 stars, one, it was another one that I thought it would be really Christmassy, and ended up not being Christmassy. And I should say before I continue that it's the story of, so bad I can't even remember his name, Charlie. Charlie goes to Paris for Christmas to go see his friend Simon, and they're going to spend Christmas together, so I was picturing it being more Christmassy, but it totally ends up taking a way different turn. And then once he gets to Paris, he goes to a nightclub, and while he's at the nightclub, he meets a girl there who he ends up spending all of his Christmas with, and he gets her story, and she eventually tells him that she was married to a man who ended up murdering someone, and now he's in jail. And so it's just him learning all about the murder. And so it was totally not a Christmas read, and I was just totally taken aback. But Mon doesn't really have cozy books, so I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. He's kind of a serious writer, but I love him. So that was that kind of put me off that it wasn't a Christmas story. That was one reason why I got 2 stars. Another one is that I wasn't really invested in any of the characters. And I liked Charlie, but he was the main character, but he had such a small role. Like, he did so little talking. And then the third is that Simon would go on these long rants. He's like way more intense than a communist. I think he's a fascist, and so long rants about how Hitler was wimpy and, dictators are wimpy and they should just wipe out all the population and we should start all over again. And it's just something I'm not interested in. So that was also what put me off. And then the fourth is that there's not that much that happens. It's all like looking back on Lydia is the girl that he meets, looking back on Lydia's life with her husband and the murder, and she talks about after her husband got back from the murder and what that evening was like. And so it was just not for me. So the writing was really good, it always is in a Maugham, but unfortunately it was just one I didn't like. And I guess I shouldn't be that surprised because it's one of his that I've heard the least about. The Razor's Edge, The Hour Before the Dawn, Of Human Bondage, The Painted Veil, those are kind of his more popular ones. So I'm kind of bummed because, it's time I spent, but obviously I'm going to get to another Maugham and kind of redeem that experience that I had. And then the next that I read is A Rule Against Murder by Louise Penny. This was so rewarding to read. It was like the first really good one that I enjoyed in this month, and this is the 4th in the Armand Gamache series, and it takes place in the summer at a vacation home, and Armand Gamache and his wife, Royna Marie, are celebrating their anniversary, and they go here, and then someone is murdered. And it's just, Louise Penny can do no wrong in my eyes. This woman is a brilliant writer, and it was so great to get back to the characters, and some of the main characters from the Three Pines series come here, and so it's just, I love these. And I listened to the audiobook for the most part, but I had this, checked out also. And the guy who does the audiobooks is so good. I love his reading. He has an American accent, but he does a great job. He's really good at speaking the French when there is French in it. So I liked that. And I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then the next one is Christmas with Rosamund Pilcher, and this is just a really short read. You know how I said I wanted to read more Rosamund Pilcher, and then this happened to be on my parents' bookshelf. I could not believe it. It was just such a coincidence. And so this is just all about her talking about her Christmas, like how they celebrate it and who comes and all the Christmas cards that she writes. And then at the end, there is a short Christmas story called, let's find out here. It's called Miss Cameron at Christmas. And it was sweet and it was cute, but then I got to the end and I wanted a whole book just because I love Rosamund Pilcher. But this was a nice quick read. It was neat to see kind of how they do Christmas in other countries. And so yeah, I think I gave this 3 or 4 out of 5 stars because it was good, but you know, it's just like a little book. It's not going to be anything breathtaking. And then the next one I read was Christmas Pudding by Nancy Mitford. And unfortunately, I didn't really enjoy this one either. And I'm so bummed because it was the first Nancy Mitford that I read. That was not good strategy on my point. I should have started with a more iconic one. But it was just too short. It's around 200 pages. And it was just, you know, towards the end, it's like she crammed everything all together. And I would have liked it if it was a lot longer. But then one that I really enjoyed was the illustrated Harry Potter. I could not be happier with this book. It was amazing, and it was a whole extra layer of my Harry Potter experience. And I'm going to show a picture, so look away if you don't want to see this picture and you want to save it for yourself. This is of Hermione when she's making fire when it's cold outside. I just love how little she looks. Like, I've forgotten how little they are when it starts. They're 11 years old. So I love Harry Potter. It gets 5 out of 5 stars. We all know about Harry Potter. I don't need to say more. And then the next one I read was The Christmas Secret by Anne Perry. Anne Perry pretty much every year releases a Victorian Christmas mystery, and I thought this would be right up my alley. It was an interesting story. It was an interesting murder. It was really fun. I started this late on Christmas Eve after we had gotten back from a Christmas concert, and I finished it late on Christmas Day. So that was really fun. But my problem with Anne Perry is her murders are too sinister. When I read Louise Penny's murder mysteries, they feel like they're about people. These feel like they're about murder, and I just felt creeped out. It was really good, but this is my second Anne Perry, and I don't think I'll be reading anymore. I was just left too unsettled feeling. And I can't get out of the back of my mind when she was a teenager, actually. This is on the internet, and she's done interviews about it. When she was a teenager, along with another girl, they murdered this girl's mother. And so I think that's extra creepy that she writes murder mysteries. It's like a little too close to home. So obviously it was good, but I was just like, ugh, a little too creeped out. But I am kind of wimpy. Anyway, the next one that I read was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I did the audiobook of this, and unfortunately I really didn't like this one. I hate being so negative with this wrap-up. It's usually not this negative, but it just happened this month. And I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. There were just little different things that bugged me about this. One was, I didn't really like Kath. I thought she was annoying and whiny. And this book, you know, is about her freshman year at college along with her sister Ren. And so obviously if you don't like the main character, that's going to be hard to like the book. And I guess I don't know if YA is for me, because the whole crux of the story is her freshman year at college. And so I was just like, it's not a big deal to me. And yeah, I don't know. It wasn't for me. And then the next is The Shepherd's Life by James Rew Banks. And you can see my Benedict Cumberbatch bookmark that my friend got me. And this was such a great note to end on. I gave this, I'm pretty sure, a 5 out of 5 stars, maybe a 4 out of 5.